Hello, welcome to my channel. First of all, subscribe and leave your like. Preview: Paris Saint-Germain vs Bayern Munich. Prediction, team news, lineups. The champions of France and Germany will collide in the Champions League on Tuesday when Paris Saint-Germain face Bayern Munich in the first leg of their last 16 tie at Parc des Princes. PSG are hoping 2023 is the year where they end their long wait for the Champions League trophy, while the Bavarians are dreaming of being crowned champions of Europe for the 7th time. After being knocked out of the Coupe de France by Marseille, Christophe Galtier's side were aiming to return to winning ways when they traveled to the Principality to face Monaco on Saturday, but as it transpired, PSG returned to the capital empty-handed following a dismal 3-1 defeat, with all 4 goals arriving in the first half. The Parisians still boast a healthy 5-point lead at the top of the Ligue 1 table, but losing 2 straight games is far from an ideal way to prepare for a European meeting with Bayern Munich, a side they lost to in the 2020-21 Champions League final. PSG would have hoped to have faced a slightly easier opponent in the last 16, but despite finishing level on 14 points with Benfica, they had to settle for second place in the group, as they lost out to the Portuguese giants on away goals scored. If the French champions are to avoid a second straight last 16 exit of the competition, they were beaten by eventual winners Real Madrid at this stage last season, then they will need to make the most of home advantage, and having won 12 and drawn 3 of their 15 home games this season, they will certainly be confident that they can take a lead to Germany. The hosts have also won 6 of their previous Champions League home games at the Parc des Princes, claiming wins over the likes of Manchester City, Real Madrid and Juventus in that period, while they have only lost 1 of their 5 home meetings against Bayern in the competition, losing 1-0 when the two sides last met in April 2021. Bayern experienced something of a mini-crisis by their high standards when they returned from the winter break with 3 consecutive 1-1 draws, but a sense of normality has been restored in Bavaria in recent weeks. Julian Nagelsmann's free-scoring side racked up 4 goals in victories over Mainz and Wolfsburg in the DFB Pokal and League respectively, before they warmed up for their midweek Champions League game with a comfortable 3-0 win over Bochum at the weekend thanks to goals from Thomas Müller, Kingsley Coman and Serge Gnabry. Their previous draws have allowed others to close the gap at the top of the Bundesliga table, with Union Berlin just 1 point adrift, while Borussia Dortmund are only 3 points away from Bayern, but their quest for an 11th straight Bundesliga title will have to be put on hold as they prepare to make the trip to Paris. Bayern made light work of a tricky group, which included Barcelona and Inter Milan, as they progressed to the knockout rounds without dropping a single point, and they now have the chance to win their first 7 games of a Champions League campaign for the second time, after previously doing so in the 2019-20 season. The perennial German champions usually fare well at this stage of the competition, having progressed from the last 16 in 9 of the last 10 seasons, including their last 3 European campaigns. Lionel Messi missed the defeat to Monaco with a hamstring problem, but Galtier has stated that the World Cup winner will be fit to line up against Bayern on Tuesday, and he could be joined by Marco Verratti, who is also set to return from injury. Kylian Mbappé, however, is not expected to be involved after sustaining a thigh injury against Montpellier at the start of the month, and the Frenchman is joined in the treatment room by Renato Sanchez and Nordi Mukiel. PSG will be hoping Fabian Ruiz is able to feature after the midfielder missed out at the weekend due to a stomach virus. Achraf Hakimi, Nuno Mendes and Sergio Ramos dropped to the bench for Saturday's game as Galtier kept one eye on Tuesday's Champions League tie, but the trio are expected to join Marquinhos in the backline against Bayern. As for the visitors, Jan Sommer was signed from Borussia Mönchengladbach in January to replace Manuel Neuer, who is ruled out for the rest of the season, and Switzerland international will hope to mark his first Champions League appearance for Bayern with a clean sheet. Ryan Gravenberch, Nasser Mazraoui, Lucas Hernandez and Sadio Mane remain sidelined, but Joshua Kimmich will return from suspension to partner Leon Goretzka in the center of midfield. Müller was forced off at half-time on Saturday due to a calf issue, and although the player himself has claimed it is nothing serious, Nagelsmann may decide against taking any risks and leave the 33-year-old on the bench. Paris Saint-Germain possible starting lineup: Donnarumma, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Ramos, Mendes, Pereira, Ruiz, Vitinha, Verratti, Neymar, Messi. Bayern Munich possible starting lineup: Sommer, Cancelo, De Ligt, Upamecano, Davies, Goretzka, Kimmich, Sane, Musiala, Coman, Choupo-Moting. Thanks for watching this far. If you want to know more about PSG news, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, and see you for more news.